Hi everyone, welcome to UET, Upper Echelon Technology. I'm Chris King.
I'm Alexander Boyd.
Today we're having a deep thoughts on Samsung's Unpacked event, which was on March 1st, about like 9:30 in the morning and stuff. Yeah. So we watched the live stream actually when it occurred. Obviously it took place in Barcelona, so the time was really way off and stuff, but we got a chance to watch it, so we're gonna just kind of really dive in, going through the specs, go through the event itself, and give you our thoughts.
Okay, so the unpacking was actually for the Samsung Galaxy 6 and Samsung Galaxy 6 Edge. Are they using the S's in this one? Is it S6?
Yeah, S6.
Okay, so it's a Samsung Galaxy S6 and Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge. Mm-hmm. So, actually, I'll just start off with you. How did you like the event? How did you like how it looked? How did you like how it felt?
Good question. I really like the way they introduced the entire event itself. It had kind of like it kept showing off, the little motion of the edge kind of flowing through.
That was pretty, and the music, man.
And the music, very like kind of atmospheric, electronic, very Sony, very PlayStation.
I do see that.
That's kind of how PlayStation starts all their. That's how they reveal the PS4. Kind of get you in that kind of mood, like this is technology, this is a new age. I like that. The overall presentation, it was really cool. It was almost like a runway kind of a thing, where all that kind of stuff. People that I haven't really seen before, they really showed. This event was about the design.
Yeah. The
design of the S6, the design of the S6 Edge. That is mainly what they're focused on at this event, along with the camera. We'll get into that kind of stuff as well. But the overall experience, I liked it. As for the presenters, that they had very kind of cheesy jokes and that kind of stuff in it.
There was one line I sent it to you.
Yes.
The one line that got me is I'm sorry, I'm not a very good public speaker because my first language was engineering.
Exactly.
I was like, wow, that's so good.
Yeah, I almost wrote it down and sent it to you as well. You sent it to me. Yeah, I love that line. The other one, this is too, right? She's like, my first language is in engineering, right?
Yeah.
But
I don't remember what she said.
Yeah, I don't know.
It didn't hit me as hard as the other one.
It didn't up until when one of the ladies mentions, like my first language is in engineering, but this thing won't bend.
Oh yeah, I was like, damn.
And I was like, wow, shots fired. Which is, something that typically Sony always does as well. Samsung always does. You don't see Microsoft nor Apple like to do those kind of shots fired kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. But it's important to kind of set someone has to bring it up. Someone has to bring up that, we made a mistake. And these companies never want to do that. And Samsung mentioned, we didn't just learn from our, beautiful phones that we've created before. We learned from the mistakes. And people did not like the S5, which I have, which we're recording on an S5. The overall design of it is very, very cheap. 2009, to me.
I feel it's cheap because it's a plastic.
Yeah, it's like a aluminum kind of front with a it's a plastic exterior, so it doesn't really, you cannot compare it to the iPhone, any of the iPhones, pretty much, So the overall event itself, I enjoyed it mainly because it was very short. It was short to the point. Yes. I'll bring up the reason why I didn't like it, after, but your overall thoughts on the whole experience. It was about 40-minute presentation.
It was about, I think it was 40 minutes. I liked it. I didn't know any of these people. But I was intrigued the whole time. I did like how they actually showed off the screen. Of course, they always have to have giant screens. Mm-hmm. I did like that it was modern. That was the thing that it really had. Because this was a design thing. So it showed that, too. The way it showed the curves. I was just like, okay, let's get to it. But it's actually, I was having fun throughout the whole thing. And just my problem there, though, is I guess because they want a crowd. But everybody sitting down looked really bored.
Yeah,
everybody sitting there was just really bored.
Bored journalists and stuff.
Yeah, that's something that I want to point out because in Apple stuff, they get excited.
Yes,
they get excited for dumb things. Before Pages was free on my phone, I paid for Pages because I'm a writer, so I do a lot of writing here. And when they announced it, he was just said, "And now Pages is free," and people were like, "Yeah!" It's like shouldn't have it been free. So it's really weird at this one. I guess they don't have that. I guess Samsung's not paying people to be in the crowd to be excited.
Right.
Yeah. Other than that, I think the camera shouldn't focus on the crowd at all. But the presentation itself was cool, was fun, was simple. I did want them to dive more into the specs, but I guess it did touch up on some stuff. I do like I do like that they had to. There's no way to not do it, to actually show a comparison with Apple and Samsung when it do the camera.
Yeah, they did a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking like that. That's like you mentioned shots fired, and then now here they are comparing this. But they have to. There's no other way to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that. It was nice. It was okay. I do like that it was fast.
Yeah, let's take a step back from this event. You know, our original plan was to go to the event, the specs, all that kind of stuff. But let's take a step back for a minute and talk about these smartphones. Let's talk about the fact that what brings us into these stores, and when it's our time to upgrade. How is it that we go about making these decisions of Samsung versus Apple? You know, because we love both companies, right?
Yeah.
But typically, like I've been a Samsung guy for a long time. You've been an Apple guy for a very long time as well. So we have that kind of opposite of symmetry, that synergy. Kind of like where we can bring the best of both worlds, especially to you guys, right? So what is it about when you see these Apple's presentations when they announce the next iPhone? When they announce the next, tablets, all that kind of stuff, versus how Samsung does it. Like, what is it about it that, kind of brings you into that kind of, focus?
Okay, so just talking presentation-wise, I watch all the Apple presentations, and this includes not just the devices, but actually like the programs. I watch all of those because I have no life, and that's just what I do. And these are long. These are very long. But what I'm already tired of Apple's presentations because it's the same thing over and over again. Now it's, what's his name?
Cook.
Yeah, I was thinking of his first name. Tim Cook. Okay, I keep wanting to call him Matt Cook. I've been watching a lot of Popcorn Talk. Anyways, promoting other YouTube channels. Anyways, so Tim Cook is there and he's just doing the same thing. Keeps moving his hands like this, showing this, and going like that. And I know, speak with your hands to show urgency. But the thing is, they stopped saying the same thing. Yeah. And now we're revolutionizing. Just over and over again. It's just the way to the future. Over and over again. This is something you need. And blah, blah. And in this one, it was very modern. It was just like, it's simply cool. Yeah. Like, this is what the cool kids are eating. Right. Come eat this phone. Right. So, I like it. It's just, and it's short. Because the other one, it goes for so long. Also, the intros. In Apple, you're all too familiar with it, is they have this very long intro. White screen, one guy talking, weird angles. We started with an idea. Yeah. And then we expanded upon it. And then it shows a bunch of people. And it shows you having fun.
Yeah, you know what? It's something that clearly we're both Americans. Okay, this is not about a racial kind of thing, but it's a national kind of a difference, which I think is beautiful. I like that we have that different kind of cultures mixing, right? Because again, I've always said that Americans, at least American business, tend to want to innovate and they want to show this is what you should be doing with it, right? So we're going to show all of Apple's commercials the same. It's like, here's a doctor using a tablet for a heart monitor, which you can't really do, but they can for some reason. Here's like, they're using it as a heart monitor. There's an artist who's using the iPad to, calligraphy, There's you're the joggers running with their kind of iPhones, that kind of stuff. Whereas companies like Sony and Samsung don't really do that.
They run with their iPads?
Yeah, or with their iPad, iPad backpack or something.
There you go.
So they're going to do that at some point.
Jetpacks.
Powered by iPad. So
Apple.
Samsung and Sony tend to just kind of like, here are the specs. This is how we got to the design. This is what we're trying to get at. They never really show people using it and that kind of stuff. So it's a very kind of different stuff. Neither is wrong, neither is right. It's just different kind of marketing kind of angle.
Yeah, I guess I'm just tired of it. I guess because I see it for too long, and these presentations are like an hour and a half.
And which you can tell again because once they got the American guy on the Samsung stage, he was like, well, no one's created the never-ending battery yet. It's like, well, yeah, obviously we know that. You don't even need to say that into the presentation. So he's going on and on about how you can charge your phone to 40% in 10 minutes. Well, I don't want to charge my phone to 40%. I want to know how fast it is to get it to 100%. That's what I care about, not 40%. That's nothing. These phones, they always claim that they get better and better and better, which is just not true. They just get more mediocre with every single iteration. For some reason, batteries is weak points of these phones.
Yeah, that's the weakest point. And that's the thing too, is that the displays are just getting bigger and it's getting stronger, and the engine is bigger. But the thing is that it wastes more gas. Yeah. So that's what's happening here. It's just like the technology gets bigger, the batteries just can't keep up.
Precisely, yeah. I mean, and you're streaming Netflix, you're streaming YouTube and stuff, which uses massive amounts of gigabytes, all that kind of stuff. So let's start to get into what they were presenting. The first thing that they presented was the phone itself, right? Mm-hmm. Which every now and then I still go back and I watch those 2006, 2001 keynotes by Jobs, just because again he was such an innovator, but he always started these things off very slowly.
Yes.
And it was like, oh, well, today we updated iMovie. It's like, no one cares. Like, just, even though we love iMovie, just, we don't want to know about the updates. We want to know about the bigger picture kind of stuff. Because those things, you can send those out in a tweet. You don't have to, dedicate an entire 40 minutes. I was watching one today about the 2006 thing where he's talking about the next update for iMovie, the next update for iDVD. I'm like, no one uses iDVD. So, I mean, he starts slowly. Samsung, immediately, the first thing that they showed off was, here's the phone.
Bam! There's the phone. By the way, there's two of them.
There's two different types. And each one's going to have three different memory, internal memory.
164.
So, that's 6 SKUs for essentially one product, which I think is unnecessary. I heard one way of... they kind of approach that, could be a sense of they're not committed to the Edge, which is something that I talked about back when the Note 4 Edge was coming out, and people were asking, like, what is the deal with this kind of thing? Well, to me, I think that they should go all in.
Yeah, so that's what I was wondering. I was wondering because they're the same specs.
Yeah.
It's just, why not just release the Edge rather than an S6 and an Edge? See, I understand the Apple one where it was a 6 Plus and a 6 because it's bigger.
Yeah.
But this one is just like, the whole difference is the size. It's just, I would say just go for the Edge. That's what I would have done. Just go for the Edge. Obviously, this is a higher technology. The people who are going to buy this want the better technology. Precisely. So why buy the Edge? This is not for mom.
No.
This is not for mom. This is not for grandma. Like, they could stick with their crappy iPhone 4.
Yeah.
It's just 4S. There you have Siri. They don't know how to use it. It's there.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. I wish that they would. But again, I knew that the Note 4 Edge was a concept kind of phone because they never had a big announcement for it. It's just like, we're releasing this kind of thing simultaneously. So they released it, and apparently they got enough good feedback. We're like, okay, well, let's do this S6 Edge. And now it's all over the news. Like, now it's S6 and S6 Edge. So now everyone who is planning on getting another Galaxy, they're going to know what the Edge is, right? So the thing is that I don't know, they haven't released the price yet, but we can assume it's going to be at least $100 difference because that's what it was on the Note 4 and Note Edge, which I think it's too much. It's too much.
That is a lot.
Because if you want everyone, it doesn't make any sense, right? If you're trying to save money, you're not going to get the Edge because it's unnecessary. If you want everyone to begin adopting the Edge, it should be like a $50 difference, maybe a $20 difference.
But even then, like, let's say they didn't release one of them. It's just the Edge. This is the 6. This is the S6. Bam! It's an Edge. And there'll be no comparison. They'll just compare it to the iPhone 6 Plus.
Precisely.
And that's it. It's like, come on, this is a full, bigger thing. Do you want that or do you want this? It's just, that's it. Unless they actually end up doing what iPhones did, which I didn't like, the 5s. That they made a
5C and the 5S.
Yeah, I hated that because it's a $50 difference just to add a piece of plastic.
Yeah, and they have like, I think it's called like the Galaxy Alpha or something like, which is like their C, which
That's
is like
terrible.
It's like the cheaper kind of model of it.
How's that an alpha?
I don't know.
You call that a beta?
I don't know. It's weird. So I don't even see those things like in stores, but they make very unnecessary kind of stuff. If it's like $150 difference, then it makes sense. That's for grandma, that's for your mom. But for the rest of you guys who are tech savvy, obviously, like we are, you want just like, if you're gonna get anything, you want top of the line.
Yeah.
So I think that by next year and stuff, if they're not gonna do it, they're definitely not gonna do it. But I think it would be time to like, and also I like when companies, especially that are competitive, show that there's a difference because the S6 is essentially an iPhone running Android. It's an all metal casing. No more removable battery, no more exchangeable external memory cards, which we're going to talk about in just a second, but it sounds like an iPhone to me.
It's an iPhone. They finally got it. They finally did that. They even added gold.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's an iPhone.
Yeah.
With an Edge. I do like the Edge. I think the Edge is a really great
Again, I like the Edge because although it's not necessary, it shows that this is what you're gonna get with us versus Apple. Neither is wrong, neither is right. The iPhone's never gonna have an edge. Although I shouldn't say that because the iPhone, Steve Jobs always said that he's never gonna have a phablet kind of phone, and he also said he never wanted a pen. And we already heard that Apple has a patent for a phone with a pen. So eventually the Apple may try to get an edge as well if this continues to work. But anyway, I mean, for the meantime, it shows that there's a difference because, for instance, like with the PlayStation and the Xbox. You strip away both cameras, you strip away the controllers, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. There's no difference. So at least with the Wii U, it's like, it may be underpowered, but there's a gamepad. It's a completely different experience. So I like that.
That's innovation.
Exactly. And again, neither which is wrong or right, but it's different. It's that, something that you can compare and say, well, you have this, but I have that. I mean, although Android is very different than, what is it, OS, I don't know, X or whatever that Apple's using on their phone. So
on the phone, I forgot which one it is.
I forgot what it's called.
X is on the laptop.
Yes, on the Max, right? Mm-hmm. We should know this. Sorry.
I think we're at it. I think we're at it. I should know this of all people. Yeah, I think it's still at 8.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah, it's kind of crazy. So, okay, we brought up already
I'm actually checking
the whole removable batteries and
how do you feel about that? How do you feel that now you can't change it back? Because that was a big thing, at least with my loser friends. They're like, hey, look, at least I can take mine off. I have my extra one.
Okay, so
carry around an extra
that's
one.
what I was trying to figure out when... okay, so 8. So I was trying to figure out why they're making such a big deal about no more removable battery. Mm-hmm. Before I get to what I actually prefer, let's just break that down, right? So what is the point in having a removable battery?
It's just that. It's just that you, for me, when you take pictures, when you're a photographer or whatever, and you have to have an extra battery. Mm. Or when I used to film, you have to have a camera that does batteries because you're on the set, you're out there, and what are you gonna do? You're gonna stop production and then go charge this battery? It's just you have to have 2 cameras or something so you can just keep going. So there's that, and that's also the big issue with memory. The removable memory. It's also that. It's like when you run out, it's like, what are you going to do? Get your other phone?
Get a new phone?
Get your second phone that has 132 or however big it was. So the battery thing, that's what it was. It's just people take it off. They're like, oh, my battery died. I don't have a charger. I'm in the middle of wherever.
So the pros for the removable battery tends to be convenience.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The fact that, you can remove battery. However... most people who have these kind of phones, they're working, they're at school, they're doing whatever kind of stuff where they shouldn't be on their phone all day anyway.
That's true.
However, obviously, we're in an age where most people are on their phones 24/7. I'm not one of those people. I outgrew that kind of phase already where to me, the phone is just a phone. To me, I even see text messages. It's not instant messaging. It's like an email. It's like you text me, I'll text you back when I can reply when I have the time. Although I tend to reply very quickly. Mm-hmm. So I'm never on my phone just like this all day. I don't need to. There's only very few people that I text, which is, for this primarily. So that to me is my focus. So I never had a problem with that. My battery does die generally quick after like a full day of, kind of at school or at work, what have you. Sure. But I never even considered buying an extra battery just because I don't know how much they run. They must run at least between $20 to $50, which is a lot of money. But having an extra battery, I can see that on convenience. Like if you're going to Disneyland, you're going to Universal, you want to be taking a 10,000 pictures and whatever kind of stuff. I can understand the convenience there, but to me, it's never really been an issue. But again, I understand from other people they're worried about that. However, I'm more than sure that it's like 80% of the people who are complaining, they never even had a second battery. They're just complaining.
That's true.
And I'll get to the cons, right? The cons, to you, what do you think some of the cons are with having a removable battery?
Nothing really. I see no cons. Just you have to have a removable back. So I think this is why this one is actually metal. It's because it got to fuse it together, so it stops being plastic. Because you have to have something that's removable.
Exactly.
And also, if it gets lost, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I see 2 cons with it, but I'll get to that in a second. Now, first of all, let's talk about the external memory.
Okay. The external memory. I remember when I had my Android. I forgot what phone I had, but I loved my phone. It's HTC something, whatever. The point is that it was the memory sucked in it. Okay, it always comes like an 8 gigabyte or 4 gigabytes, something like that. So I would end up getting a 32 or 64, and it's mainly for music. That's mainly what I had on my phone. It's like I'm walking somewhere, so I have music on here. The pictures I usually go through and delete it. People like love leaving their damn pictures in there. So the memory for me is not even a big problem. I don't know why people make this big deal about memory. It's like if it could hold my music, I'm good. That's it. That's it. I don't record videos on my thing. Just I don't care. So the removable memory doesn't matter to me. I think it's quite a waste. I think that this is a step forward for them to have actually built-in memory.
I agree, because I dislike external memory, period. As a concept, I just don't. I think that when you sell a product, it should be ready to go. It should be, as Steve Jobs always said, as, I don't know, multiple innovators, not just him, but that was one of his biggest philosophies, was just, it should be plug in and play. You should just, you plug it in, and it should be just ready to go. I don't like having external stuff. Like, we're already contemplating, we're going to have to buy external memory for the Wii U. Yeah. I'm already thinking about buying a 4 terabyte or 3 terabyte for the PS4 and Xbox One. Maybe just for PS4, probably.
Isn't that crazy? It's not...
And it's annoying. Yeah. It's annoying. I don't like external memory. Even for, we talked about with keeping our videos, right, which we don't, for now, at least, because you have to buy like an 8 terabyte, external hard drive, which, they're not overly expensive. You can buy some cheap ones, but it's the concept that you bought a machine, and now you have to buy a secondary kind of product to go with it. And
well, is it expensive? Because also you get what you pay for.
Like like I said, it's like in the middle. It's neither too expensive nor is it undervalued. It makes sense.
Like, I got my external hard drive and I made sure to spend good money on it. Yeah. I got a 3 terabyte because it's for my music, and I cannot lose my music. I have my music and I have a bunch of other stuff to do with that with the Neo Noir. So it's just like I care. Yeah. I care. And I bought it even though I had enough memory on my laptop. I was that person who's like plug and play, It's like I bought it, I customized it, I made it full, everything. So it is packed with everything that I need, but I just bought this backup.
Yeah, I guess for like when you have something very specific, like, I don't know, if you're a photographer, like you said, or obviously if you work in the movie industry, you have at least 5 of those kind of things. So sure, but for the general public, I feel like it's always just been like, whatever you're selling, it should be the battery.
That's the key word there, is general public.
Well, I mean, but the general public is 90% of your consumers. It's a 10% which are like the tech savvy guys. But even me, I'm a tech savvy guy. I don't like external memory. Period. I don't like the fact with the new 3DS, you have to unscrew the back just to get another stupid SD card. Yeah. With the Wii U and the Xbox, the fact that they still have external power bricks drives me insane. Like, everything should be built in already. We've already mentioned this in 2011. The PS4 needed to have a 1 terabyte hard drive.
Yeah, we were talking about it before the PS4 came out.
Because, I mean, we knew that the games were getting, like, I remember Infamous on the PS3 was, I'm sorry we're into games, but this has to do with phones as well, right? Those are 20 gigabyte games near the end of the cycle. So, obviously, we can infer that the PS4 games are going to be around 50 gigabytes. How much is 50 gigabytes in a 500 gigabyte? That's only 10 games. So we need something massive, something where they put out 2 500 gigabyte machines, which is not, you have to play a game, delete it off your hard drive, and then, whatever. So same thing, same concept with the phones. I don't like external memory.
But on phones, everything is streaming.
Well, yeah, that's why we're going to get to this kind of thing. This is why I don't believe in external memory, at least not anymore. I do see the value in buying one SD card that's like 120 gigabytes or 64, and you can use that for every single phone. I see the value in that, but I want a machine that's just closed. And this is my con with this is that water can get in very easily. If there's a slit in there that you can open it, believe me, water can get in there twice as easy. So this will protect it more against water. This will protect it more against the environment, all these kind of stuff. Like those backs can get dirty if you don't take them out every once in a while. Just kind of give them a little quick rub like stuff. So I think it's better for that. You don't have the battery getting loose. Parts won't be loose if they're just all built in and they're just unified like that, like the iPhone. Yeah. Which is why Johnny Ive was a genius when he. That's why that design has not changed by much. Yeah. So there's kind of that. Those kind of things. Those are one of the big focuses they had.
So there you go. So we had design. I like that it's completely closed. I like that. I am for the Edge rather than the S6 simple. Then we had the built-in battery, which is smart. They did have the 3 thing just like Apple did. I don't think they still do. I think they only do 2 now. No, they still do 3, right? 16s, 32s, and 64s, I think.
Oh, the memory?
Yeah.
Yeah, so memory's going to be
120.
it's going to be 32, 64, and 128.
Yeah, see, that one's bigger than the iPhones because the iPhones, they start you off at 16.
Yeah.
And I think that's smart too because you're getting mom and dad.
Yeah, I still believe 32, like you said, will be for mom and dad. I'm eyeing the 64. You know, I don't think that 128 is necessary unless you have movies and music in there, and I stream everything. So, yeah, as you mentioned, 64. Quick thing on the battery. What do you think about the wireless charging?
I was so for that.
Yeah.
That was smart.
Genius.
Like these wireless battery things existed for a long time. I remember when I worked in retail, I actually worked in electronics, so I was there, and these things never sold. They were like $120.
Yeah.
And it had different ones for different phones, and it's like, oh, does this one do HTC? Oh, well, people come in, they're like, does this one do Android? And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what kind of phone do you have?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's an Android phone. And it's just like, it's annoying. So you have to buy the right one.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really annoying. They're big, they're full of a bunch of other connections and a bunch of other crap. So this is really smart. I wonder if I could charge anything on it. I'm actually quite excited about that. I want to start throwing my iPhone on it. I want to throw my laptop on it.
I doubt it just because they use a different type of battery than most other phones.
Sucks.
So there's that. But, well, I mean, but this is a Samsung product. It's not a third party.
I want to put my
thing, you know?
laptop on it. Okay, charge my laptop.
I love it though. I love the concept of just having bases from now on. You know, just one base with one cord, so you lose this whole kind of mess of cords that you have right there. That's one less cord you have to worry about. You just put your PlayStation on that cord that will always be charging. You put your phone, obviously, you just kind of tap it on there.
This is something. Okay, this is something that they didn't really touch up on, or if they did touch up on it, I didn't pay attention. Well, how I saw it was that, okay, so it does have one cord that obviously is the charging thing.
Yeah.
And then you put your phone there, and it charges while it's charging. But if I'm not wrong, you could actually remove it, and this thing is charged. So you go carry around the base, and when you run out of battery, you put the phone on top of it.
Yeah,
and
if it works like that,
it.
that is genius.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
That's not just wireless charging. That's portable wireless charging. So you're right. That could because I didn't see a cord on the little pod that they showed, which is why I was also confused as to how it was charging. So I'm assuming there is a cord like that. But if that is like that, then
later on, that little after show thing, there was people talking. There was one with a cord, and I saw that he actually plugged it in. So I think that's what it is. It's wireless charge. I mean, it's portable.
Yeah.
Charging, portable wireless charging, and that's just smart. That is a step forward. That is telling you, it's like, hey, Apple, you're behind.
Yes, yeah, that is a big slap to the face of all these other developers of phones who are still using these really weird kind of plug into your walls that like very rarely even work anymore.
And to top it off, they have a bigger battery than iPhones. Not necessarily as in size-wise, but actually juice. Yeah. Like, this thing will last longer than an iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, and I find that iPhones, they typically last, like, all day. Like, they have a really strong battery, so it's good to see that, again, that these kind of things run, I think as far as more juice. But I think that the problem is that they never show the consumption. And I think that Galaxies tend to consume a lot more battery than iPhones do. I'm not really sure why that is. I guess it's a difference within the OS itself, because you could be doing so many different stuff on a Samsung. So I think that's part of the problem is that they need the battery because there's so much consumption. So if you don't need it, then why put in such a big battery, right? Yeah. So I think that's one of the things with Apple.
Yeah, it's like with Apple, everything is the same, everything is synchronized. And with Samsung, everything's free. Like, everything's open. It's like you have open stuff, so it has to, like, try.
Yes,
it's
really
not
syncing.
Yeah. It's like, oh, there's this new program that doesn't belong to said whatever, and I'm going to try to open this. So it's like, let me start over.
Yeah, and okay, so there's that, and we're obviously leaning more to the comparing those two, but I will mention the fact that I was really disappointed about the fact that they did not show the tablets. I really wanted to look at a new Note Pro. If any of you guys have a Note Pro, or I'm sure you guys know about the Notes, the tablets, because there's a reason why I moved to the Galaxy S, the S series versus the Note, because I was the first early adopters of the. I had a Note. I had the Note 2. I was one of the first guys to go into Notes, but I just kind of realized after a while that it's just like you don't need a Note if you're gonna have a Note and a tablet. It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to these like I have the S5 because I wanted a Note Pro, but no tablets anywhere. It was just strictly for the S6. So
which is weird because if I remember, they also have a Galaxy tablet.
yeah, they also have the Galaxy Tab as well. Yeah, you're right. So they have way too many lines.
Which
just way too
would have
many
made sense in this presentation.
Yeah, I think it would have been awesome to see those kind of other lines of tablets. So I don't know if we're gonna see another tablet like until maybe summer or fall.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, so that's it. And then I do like the comparison. The camera, it just looks superior.
Oh yeah, the camera. Let's talk about the camera really quickly. Yeah, just the whole presentation was really cool.
It showed it. It showed it. I don't know. He said there was no manipulation. So if there really is no manipulation, it's like, wow, that camera they're doing well.
Yeah, I will say that like in daylight, I don't think there's a better camera than the iPhone cameras. Because in daylight, I mean, the pictures that some people post on, whatever, Instagram or Twitter and stuff, they blow me away because I've never been able to take a picture like that on a Galaxy. Like, those cameras, I mean, even though they have so many more megapixels, there's something about the stabilization and the light balance that the iPhones have that the cameras look like professional sometimes. They're really, really good.
Yeah, because the iPhone 6, I think, still has an 8 megapixel camera, and the Galaxy S6 has a 16, I believe. I believe it was 16, so it's double, and it's still not as good.
Yeah, so I mean, at least for the pictures they showed us, apparently in low light, they're better than even the 6 Plus, I guess. But I don't know, it's kind of crazy. I will say that, I mean, yeah, people are comparing the S6 to the 6 Plus, which is wrong because it's not the same line. You want to compare the S6 to the 6.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But we know that on May 9th, Apple has their event. Where most likely, I think they're going to show off the Apple Watch.
Yeah, that's really what they've been pushing. It's been coming soon on the website for a while. I feel like I already know everything about it.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, we've almost have to even the design already. So most likely next week we'll have a deep thoughts on that as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, so final thoughts, or do you like the S6?
Okay, would I drop my iPhone to go to the S6? I would, actually. I really like the Edge. And I did remember when I was in Android, I just have a lot of open source stuff. I miss having that
freedom.
That freedom, because the thing with Apple is it's a good thing, it's a double-edged sword. It's a good thing and a bad thing that you could sync with every other Apple product. Like, I did end up buying a MacBook Pro because I wanted to do film and wanted to do other things, music and stuff. So I wanted my stuff to sync. I even had an iPad mini at the time.
Yes, I remember.
And so I synced all three things. And that's nice, but now that we have bigger stuff like Dropbox and so on and so forth, like, it's just